Hello everyone. Yeah, there's a lot of weather stuff going on right now, but my videos this week are going to focus on the severe weather threat across the Midwest later this week, starting Wednesday and then continuing into Friday. And there is a severe weather threat tomorrow, but we're going to focus on the Wednesday through Friday time period because that's when it's going to be the most prevalent. And there's certainly going to be a chance for some tornadoes. I think there's going to be quite a few tornadoes, especially on Thursday. Possibly Wednesday, too. This could be the first big severe weather event of the spring. Alright, so this is the GFS, American model. This is currently what's producing your blizzard across the upper Midwest back in here. And there were even some tornadoes with this today. Man, crazy weather. And then you had the big surprise snow band across Long Island and New York City this morning, and central Connecticut caught everybody by surprise. Selden on Long Island reported 5.1 inches of snow, and we weren't even predicting any snow. So, crazy weather lately. I'll probably do a video explaining why that happened later on in the week, just to give everybody clarification on why we missed that. But what we're going to be focusing on is this disturbance coming in from the Pacific. This disturbance coming in from the Pacific is going to be the focus for severe weather tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the reason there's going to be severe weather all 4 days is because this system is very slow moving until Thursday. It doesn't really start to move until Thursday. This western piece is going to come on shore. Eastern piece, this piece I'm circling right now, is going to be coming on shore during the day tomorrow and into Wednesday, and there is going to be an area of low pressure developing on the eastern side of it, northeastern side, along the boundary between warm and cold air. And so on the northern side, there's going to be probably some heavier precipitation associated with this. On the southern side, it's going to be more of a severe weather event. So let's take a look at that. So let's watch this disturbance here, and what I want you to notice about this is notice how this back part is pretty much barely moving. It moves very slowly, and this eastern part pretty much stays stationary, although it moves to the north just a little bit. So notice that. So this is tonight. Okay, so actually some energy just got transferred to the eastern part, so you can see here's your area of low pressure that we're going to be watching. There's going to be a cold front associated with that and a dry line as it comes into here. There's going to be warm, moist air, cold, dry air behind it. The contrast there is what's going to create your severe weather events. So here we go. This is later tonight, Okay, here we go throughout the day. See the eastern part does transfer to the east a little bit, but this is about as far east as it's going to go right here. We're on Tuesday night now. This is about as far east as it's going to get until Thursday. Notice your western piece is still back in here of this piece of energy. The main piece is still back in here. So this is probably going to aid in bringing some moisture from the Pacific all the way into the middle of the country here. So that's number one. That's one source of moisture coming in for your thunderstorm development. And this is as far east as it is going to get. So here's your area of low pressure. It's pretty much going to sit here for the next 36 hours. So here we go. Alright, we're Wednesday afternoon. Okay. So see, it is still across here. Your eastern piece is starting to move on a little bit. So this is just shifting a little bit to the north. Notice that your trough is still pulling in moisture from the Pacific. However, the other thing is, for the eastern part here, how is this getting moisture? Well, see the low pressure there? It's in the same spot as it was 12 hours ago. There's going to be a bit of a low-level jet on the eastern side, and what the low-level jet does, well, the wind flow with the low-level jet helps to bring in moisture and create instability, and you get thunderstorms. Alright, so here we go. Still Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday evening, it's a little bit farther to the north. But your low pressure is still pretty much in the same area. Energy is still feeding in. Low-level jet on the eastern side still pulling up moisture. See, your low pressure is still in the same spot, so is your cold front. So what I'm trying to tell you is basically the same areas that are going to get severe weather on Wednesday are going to be at risk for severe weather on Thursday. However, it will be a little bit farther east because this disturbance does start to move to the east, and then your low pressure, which is centered around this area, is actually going to be strengthened by this east-western piece, which is going to start to come across to the south here. Okay? So now we're on Thursday morning. Okay, so watch this. This is the same spot it's been in for about 36 hours now. Bam, it moves. Go from that to that. Oops, sorry. That to that. That to that. That to that. And see, it's generally an eastward progression. So look where the low pressure moves. East. In relation to your trough here. Now, take a look at this. You see how it's positively tilted back here, and it's taking in moisture from the Pacific? Check this out. By Thursday, its tilt is completely changing. It's negative now. So now it's going to be taking in moisture from the Gulf as it moves further to the east. See that? So this trough is going to become negatively tilted as it moves to the east. It's this eastern side is going to be the focus for moisture absorption. Okay? And that's going to aid in your thunderstorm. So this is Thursday evening now. Your low pressure is actually, this becomes negatively tilted. What does that start to do? That starts to shift your low pressure to the north and east. So your cold front is going to start lifting to the north and east. So what does that do to the severe weather threat? Starts to shift it to the northeast throughout the day on Thursday. So some areas up north here are also going to be getting some severe weather. Okay? And then, by Friday, it continues to move. Negatively tilted trough, continuing to move. See that negative tilt there? So it's still taking in moisture from the Gulf here. So into Friday, here's your low now. Look, it's all the way up to the north. Cold front extending back along here. There's a severe weather threat in this area on Friday. Not as much because dynamics are better towards the Midwest and South, but you still get a few strong thunderstorms. I think we're going to have a line of showers and storms with this cold front. Okay? Okay? And then by Saturday, it's moving into southern Canada. And then the northeast gets impacted by this. Negatively tilted again, so moisture in from the Atlantic this time. And dynamics aren't so good up here, so I'm thinking that you're going to get some rain with this, along with its leading warm front that's going to be coming in. There's going to be a warm front coming in first, so you get some rain with that. Now on the back end, the cold front coming through, that's where you would get a possible thunderstorm or two. And I think there is going to be a threat of thunderstorms along the eastern seaboard during the day on Saturday, and Friday night possibly into Saturday during the day as this moves through. All the way extending up as far north as maybe Massachusetts and Connecticut, back down into here. It's the dynamics aren't that good, but I really can't rule out the chance of a thunderstorm or two, and maybe one or two of them could be strong in those areas. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. But right now, looks like generally a shower threat. Okay, so now that we've looked at the basic disturbance that's going to be causing the severe weather, let's take a look at the dynamics that are going to be in place. Alright, so first, let's take a look at dew point. So, Wednesday, this is Wednesday morning. Alright, so, let's go back here. So, by Wednesday morning, your trough is all the way back. It's actually really elongated. Your main part of it is back in here across the western California, Arizona, and you can see there's another area of low pressure associated with that. The eastern part is back over here. The eastern part of that trough I was showing you. And this is your center of low pressure with this cold front extending back across. So this is Wednesday morning. Take a look at your dew points. All the red and blue is actually the back end of the cold front. You can see the contrast here is pretty huge. So the yellows and the browns, these are all dew points 60 or higher. 60 up to 70. That means there's going to be a lot of moisture coming in on the eastern side of the low pressure ahead of the cold front. You're going to have warm air advection, what we call warm air advection, coming in from the Gulf. And then you have the cold front coming in on the back. You're going to have a dry line form. Again, that's a dry line, what we call, between dry and warm air. Moist air, excuse me. Low pressure back here, so this is a big contrast. So your warm air is going to be rising rapidly above this cold, dry air. And then as it settles back down, it comes back down, it falls, it cools. That's going to create some clouds, and you get the thunderstorms with that. The next thing I want to check out for Wednesday, we're going to go ahead a little bit. So these are where your dew points are now. We're going to go to later in the day on Wednesday now. They're pretty much in the same area, but what you want to focus on here, and then the other thing, alright, hold on. I need to get one more thing up here for comparison. This. Okay, so here we go. So, by Wednesday afternoon, you could see your low is still in basically the same place. Your cold front is still extending back across western Texas. And then to the east, you see you have some thunderstorms moving out ahead of this cold front now. Check it out. You have some heavier thunderstorms across. These states are killing me. Missouri and Illinois. Some thunderstorms are going to be extending across there. So check this out. You have your dew points are most prevalent across southeastern Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, the eastern half of Texas, mainly the northeastern half, northwestern Louisiana, most of Arkansas, southern Missouri, and then southern Illinois. So this area on Wednesday is going to be your primary focus for moisture to come on in, and then here's your low-level jet, same area, eastern Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, eastern Texas. This is where your low-level winds are going to be most prevalent, possibly 40 to 50 knots in the lower atmosphere. And that's not as impressive as I'd like it to be, but that's still decent enough where severe weather is going to be prevalent. And then the main thing here is check out this CAPE. This is convective available potential energy. It is a measure of instability. It is a measure of how quickly warm air is going to be rising off the ground and into the air, which would aid in the development of what we call an updraft, meaning that's when warm air rises into the core of a thunderstorm, rotating air up into the core of the thunderstorm. That's what we call an updraft. It's a rotating column of winds. And when you have strong levels of instability, your CAPE values are higher, and that creates better conditions for updrafts to form off the surface. I hope I explained that good. But your highest CAPE values you can see are across eastern Oklahoma, eastern Texas, eastern Kansas, western Missouri, western Arkansas, western Louisiana, so same areas. The green are values of about 900 to 1500 joules per kilogram, and those are not extremely high, but they are high enough where severe thunderstorms will be definitely possible. And across here, the yellow and brown areas, that's anywhere from 2,000 to up to 3,000 joules per kilogram. That's extreme, so that means there's going to be a lot of warm air advecting off the ground rapidly into the core of the thunderstorm, so there's going to be strong updrafts forming, and that rising air is going to aid in the cloud tops going higher into the atmosphere, and guess what? That creates a threat for large hail. Also, when you have air rising so quickly, it also falls pretty quickly as well, so what's that going to create? That's going to create what we call a downdraft. You're going to have a downdraft of cold air coming down, so with that you would get areas of damaging winds called microbursts that extend out from the base of a thunderstorm. You get the strong rising air, then you get strong falling air. That's called a strong downdraft. And so that would create damaging what we call straight line winds, microbursts. So that's another threat. That's threat number 2. Alright, next video we'll talk more.